Hey there, welcome to VIP. Before we start this week, I do have a few notes for the parents just to make sure that it's the best experience it could possibly be for your family and for your kids. So, number one is safety. We've included a lot of small objects in our bags, and if you have children who are under 3, please keep an eye on them and make sure that they don't become a choking hazard. The second thing is allergies. We've included a snack in all of these packages, and if you have a child with allergies, you're probably used to checking first, but go ahead and do that just to make sure that what they've included with the snack is going to be acceptable for your child. Now the art materials. Okay, so first of all, let's make it a happy time to do art by covering the space with newspapers so your child doesn't have to worry if they spill a little bit of paint or there's a little bit of a bloop here and there. That'll make both you and your child more comfortable. Now we are using permanent markers for a lot of these projects, so if a little bit of permanent marker gets on something, 91% rubbing alcohol usually takes that right out. But just kind of work with your child and guide them as you normally would and make sure that they're happy to use the materials and are using them in an appropriate way. So the acrylic paint that we're using on the first day to make these t-shirts will also stain your clothes. That's why we're making t-shirts with it. If it gets on something you don't want it on, if you wash it while it's still wet or just a little bit damp, it should come out okay. All right? So after the first day, your kids can just wear their t-shirt while they're doing their craft, and if they get a little bit on their t-shirt, it just becomes more of the fun from the week. Speaking of t-shirts, we want to keep these sort of permanent. So what you're going to do is you're going to iron them for 2 minutes over the colored part here, and then after that you want to wash it in cold on a gentle cycle with mild detergent. The best thing to do would actually be to just wash it by hand, or if there's a little spot, just sponge it out. And if something happens and you wash it and it turns into a white t-shirt, why not just make your t-shirt all over again? It can be a repeatable craft like that. So, also consider decorating a space where you're going to hold VIP. When we've done this in the past, when we've gathered together, we've spent a lot of effort to make the environment really exciting and really fun for kids. So you have an opportunity to do the same thing in your house this year. So, make it fun. Make it meaningful. Is there a special way that your family prays? Then consider praying that way when you start or when you finish the VIP, and marvel at the ways other people pray as well. We hope it is a marvelous experience.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got the whole world 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 in his hands.
Let's pray. Thanks be to God for this new day, for the sun and the moon and the stars up above, for all that is around me. I will be close to the earth. I will be close to myself. I will be close to those around me. Thanks be to God for this new day.
All right, I am so excited that we're here today. We have a brand new program this year called VIP, which
VIP?
is, no, it's different than anything we've ever done. This year, it's called Vacation Interfaith Program. We wanted to welcome everyone in the whole world into this
Well,
summer
that's
program.
a great idea. You don't have to be right here in Munster to do this?
You don't have to be right here in Munster, and you don't have to be a part of our church. You can be part of a synagogue, or you can be part of a mosque, or you could have a faith of your own culture and still participate with us.
That's a great idea.
Right. So we're going to share stories that are shared by the three Abrahamic faiths, but are also good themes for anyone with a different faith. So we're going to be doing 5 themes. They're based on the 5 rocks that David had in his pocket when he fought Goliath. And they are faith, trust, obedience, courage, and praise. All right?
Faith, trust, obedience, courage, and praise.
Right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so those are the 5 rocks. So if we have these in our heart, no giant can defeat us.
Like
All right?
David?
Mm-hmm. And we can face all our obstacles one rock at a time.
Okay. So
Okay.
how are we going to pull this off if people can't come here to play games and have snacks and learn the stories?
Well, we've got packages here. This is what you're going to
Oh.
get. Everything that you need is going to be in this package. All right?
Cool.
Day 1, day 2, day 3, everything on each of those days. We'll have everything you need to do all your different projects. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start every day right here at Assembly. All right? And we're going to have some songs and some dance that you can do. And we're going to introduce a character of the day. So then after that, we're going to move straight to science. No, so we're going to do storytelling, all right? And you're going to hear the story of the day. Right after the story, we're going to do science, and we're going to see a really nice program on that, and we're going to see how that science relates the story to our physical world.
Wow.
All right, so after that, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have games. And these are games that you can play right at home. You can play them by yourself, or you can play them with your family or friends. And wait till you see how fun these games are. You're going to be really excited.
That's a great idea because a lot of us are staying home right now.
Right, and I wanted you guys to have as much fun as you could. So right after we do the games, we're going to reach into our creative side, and we're going to have some arts and some crafts projects for you that relate to the story. And they're all done with supplies that you have here in the bag. So by that time, you're going to be
Hungry.
hungry.
We get snacks in the bag too?
Snacks in the bag, and we're going to show you a video of how to put these together so you can make a really, really super creative snack.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, and then you're going to hear from our special mission team. This year, our mission is El Fuego del Sol, and you're going to hear all about that and how we can make cleaner fuel for cooking for those people in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. All right, so we're going to close it out with some more music and dance.
Here it goes. I got 5 rocks.
I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. The first one is faith. No matter what I face, God will get me through it. One of my 5 rocks. Second one is trust. It's one thing that you must put your trust in God. It's one of my 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. Third, we have obedience, doing what is right. God will help me do it. One of my 5 rocks. Fourth one is for courage, facing fear with might. Need not be afraid, it's one of my 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. Fifth one is praise. My hands and heart will raise up to worship God. It's one of my 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. I've got 5 rocks. Rocking in my pocket. I've got my 5 rocks. Yes, they're my 5 rocks.
Every day you're going to have a special shepherd animal who's going to carry you through all these things and make funny comments along the way.
An animal?
An animal.
Every
animal
day.
of the day, right? It's going to be so cute. I can't wait for you to see him.
I'm pretty excited.
I'm excited too. Woo. So, our first animal we're about to introduce is Peter. Take it away, Peter.
Well, hello there, kids. My name is St. Peter Rabbit. Did you know that Peter means rock? It does. So you could call me Peter or Rocky, but we've got some other friends named that coming up later. Anyway, today's theme is faith. You're going to hear a story about David and Goliath. David really needed faith in God to succeed. Well, you're just about to hear it now. Here is Jordan Mayer telling the story of
Hello.
David and
Today, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite stories about a young boy who had 5 rocks. He's a great reminder that little people can do big things with the help of God. This is the story of David and Goliath. Now Saul had been king, but he kept disobeying God. So God asked Samuel to find a new king. God said to Samuel, "Go to Bethlehem, and there is a man named Jesse with 8 sons. One of them will be the next king." When Samuel first met the sons, he automatically thought that the oldest son, named Eliab, would be the king that God had chosen. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look at the way he looks or how big he is. Eliab is not the one I have chosen. The way he looks doesn't matter to me. I look at the heart." Jesse brought more of his sons to meet Samuel, but none of them God had chosen either. Samuel asked Jesse, "Have I met all your sons?" Jesse replied, "I have one son left named David. Well, he's the youngest, and he's out looking after the sheep. I'll bring him here to meet you." As soon as Samuel saw him, the Lord spoke to him and said, "He is the one." So Samuel anointed him with oil, which was a special way of promising him that he would be the next king. And from that day on, the power of the Lord was with David. David continued to take care of his father's sheep in the fields. When he didn't have much to do in the fields, he played instruments, and he wrote songs and poems that you can find in the book of Psalms in your Bible. Meanwhile, Saul was still king, and he ruled people called Israelites. David and his family were Israelites too. The Israelites weren't getting along with people named the Philistines. The problem with the Philistines was that they had many giants living in their land. One of the strongest and biggest giants was named Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall. He would have had to bend way down to get through a regular door. Goliath was covered with armor to protect him and carried a big spear. Every morning and every evening for 40 days, he shouted, "Hey, you guys! I dare you to find one man to fight me. If he can beat me, we will become your servants. But if I win, you will all become our servants." When Saul and all his men heard this, they were very afraid. 3 of these men were David's 3 oldest brothers. They were the only ones in David's family that could go fight, because they were old enough. Now, David's father Jesse heard about the giant and was worried for his sons. He called David out of the fields and asked him to take some food to his brothers and report back how they are doing. So David set off to visit his brothers. As he approached them, he heard Goliath shouting his challenge like he did every morning. "Isn't someone going to stand up to this man?" David asked the men in the army. "Hey, you guys, come and fight me, then I will fight this giant." Saul approached David and said, "You can't fight Goliath. You're only a boy, and he's been fighting for many years." But David said to Saul, "I have had to fight lions and bears to protect my father's sheep. God helped me safe and keep safe then, and he will help keep me safe now." It was too bad that Saul the king wasn't trusting in God to help him. He didn't know what to do to beat Goliath. Then this young boy named David came, and he knew in one day exactly what to do. And he trusted that God would help him. Well, that's why God loved David's heart and wanted David to be king. So Saul dressed David in heavy armor to protect him from Goliath. But David took it off. It was so heavy he could hardly walk, and he knew that God would keep him from harm. Instead, David went to a stream nearby, and he found 5 smooth stones, 5 rocks, just like us. And he put them in a pouch around his waist. And with his slingshot, he went to Goliath. As David approached Goliath, Goliath looked at David and thought it was a joke. Goliath thought he could easily beat David. And he thought, "This is going to be funny. That Saul sent me a small little boy? Oh my God." But David said to him without fear, "You fight with a sword, and I come with God on my side. And today, everyone will know that there is one true God in this land." Goliath didn't care what David said, and he moved closer to attack him. David ran quickly to meet him. Reaching into his pouch, he pulled out a stone, put it into his slingshot, and shot it at Goliath. The stone had hit him right between his eyes. Poof! And suddenly Goliath started to lose his balance. He fell. Poof, 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 with a loud thud. No! Right on his face. David had done it. He beat the giant Philistine. When the rest of the Philistines saw this, they ran away. And David became a hero to all the people in Israel. And that is the story of David and Goliath.
I wonder if David was scared. I wonder how heavy the armor was. I wonder how you wonder about this story. Thank you so much. I love that story. It's so exciting to hear how he succeeded against that big giant. Well, we know that we can conquer everything if we have our 5 rocks. That's right, 5 rocks. And now, we're going to have a little bit of science to show how this story relates to our physical world. Take it away, Julie.
Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Glavin and I am bringing you some science. Today you are learning about David and Goliath. David was a young shepherd boy and the Israelites were having a war with the Philistines. David, in a single battle, defeated the giant Goliath and therefore became the king of Israel. Now, that was a pretty big task, and he did it without any weapons. All he used was a slingshot and a rock. And he was able to kill the giant Goliath with that rock. Now, I can't tell you what kind of rock that was, what color it was, where he found it, but I can tell you that it had to have been either an igneous rock, a metamorphic rock, or a sedimentary rock, because those are the three kinds of rocks. So let me tell you a little bit about those rocks. And so let's start with metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are made from other types of rocks, and it's when those rocks are pushed together in the presence of a lot of heat and a lot of weight. So it pushes all these other rocks together and kind of melts them and presses them together, and that is a metamorphic rock. Some examples of metamorphic rock are marble and anthracite, and from there we can talk about igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are kind of my favorite because they're formed from volcanoes. So I happen to have one here. It's an igneous rock. You find them a lot in landscaping. People who use rocks in their landscaping will use these lava rocks. And you can tell you have one because they have lots of little holes in them, little bubbles from when they were all melted coming out of the volcano, and then they cooled down and air was trapped inside of them, and it made these little bubble holes. So when a volcano erupts, it shoots out molten rock called magma or lava. And eventually the magma will cool down and harden. And we call that kind of hardened magma or lava an igneous rock. So examples of igneous rock are basalt, which probably a lot of you haven't heard of, or granite. A lot of you have heard of granite. Granite is really popular right now when you're making countertops, okay? And so when you see granite in someone's kitchen, it's a rock that was formed from the lava that cooled down from a volcano. Okay, the last kind of rock that David possibly could have used is a sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rocks take a long time to form because they're layers. So first there's a layer of some kind of pebbles, sand, whatever, and then a layer of something else, other pebbles and sand and rocks, and another layer, and another layer, and another layer, and that all gets really heavy and presses all those layers together to form a sedimentary rock. We have a quarry very close to us. If you're going over to Illinois, you drive over the quarry, and that is all sedimentary rock. It's limestone. Limestone is a very common kind of sedimentary rock, and it's very we have lots of limestone in Indiana, okay, and it's used for lots of building. Almost all of the monuments in Washington D.C. are made out of limestone. I have right here a sedimentary rock, and it's made out of sediments, and if you can see the little rings, those are little fossilized seashells. Okay, so this one has rock material and little seashells in it. All right, well, if those of you who have worked with me in science before know that my favorite kind of science is the kind you can eat. So we're going to make a sedimentary rock sandwich, okay? And you can do this at home. I'm going to use 2 slices of bread, and I'm going to use so that the bread will be 1 layer of my sediment, and then I'm going to use some peanut butter. So that's going to be another layer. So I'm going to spread my peanut butter sediment on top of the bread. So now I have 2 layers. And then I'm going to take some other tiny little pebbles, only we're going to use blueberries. And that'll be another layer of sediment. Okay, hope these don't all fall off when I pick it up. There they are, blueberries. And then maybe I'll add another layer of peanut butter on top of my blueberries. And so now I have bread, peanut butter, blueberries, more peanut butter. That's 4 layers of sediment, okay? And they're all pressing down on each other. I think I'll add 1 more sediment layer. And how about a sediment layer of potato chips? Okay, let's put on some potato chips on this sedimentary rock. So if you're getting the idea, you can make your sedimentary rock out of anything that you can eat and that you like to eat. It's just 1 layer after another. So here we go. Bread, peanut butter, blueberries, peanut butter, and potato chips, and 1 more layer, our last sediment layer. I'm going to press down, and now I'm going to press down on my sediment really hard and now here is my sedimentary sandwich, but let's cut it open and see if we can see some of those layers. Okay, let's see if we can see any layers in our sediment. Oh, and look at the sediment. Do you see the peanut butter, the blueberries, the potato chips, and you see how they kind of all get mixed together? It depends on how heavy the layers were on top of one another. So there you have your own, eat your own, make your own sedimentary rock. Okay, the only thing I have left to say about rocks is the rock cycle. I bet most of you have heard about the life cycle and the water cycle. Well, rocks have a cycle too, okay? So let's start over here with the volcano, all right? Melted rock or magma is sent to the Earth's surface by a volcano. It cools down and forms an igneous rock. That was my little landscape rock. Next, the weather. Okay, so here's our igneous rock. Next, the weather or a river or other events will slowly break this rock into small pieces right here of sediment. As the sediment builds up and hardens over years, a sedimentary rock is formed. So here we are. Here's our sedimentary rock. Slowly, this sediment rock will get covered with other rocks and end up deep in the Earth's crust. And when the pressure and heat get high enough, the sedimentary rock will change into a metamorphic rock and the cycle will start all over again. So I hope you enjoyed our first lesson. David killed the giant Goliath by throwing a rock at him, and all we know for sure, it was either an igneous rock, a metamorphic rock, or a sedimentary rock.
Whoa, that is so cool. Thank you, Julie. It's so great to hear all those things about different kinds of rocks. Kids, I know you've got a bunch of rocks in your bag. Maybe you can figure out which ones are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. Well, we've got a good game coming from you, and this game is being demonstrated by the Muninyanga family from the Congo. We are so happy to have them here showing us this game called Stone's Throw. Here you go.
Hello.
Hi, hello. So today we'll be doing 3 circles and throwing stones. So whoever have more points, he won.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I'm going to draw the first circle. Second circle.
All right, great. And now you're going to put the points for those circles. So you're going to put a number 10 in the middle. 5 in the second ring. And 1 in the last ring. Great. Okay, kids, are you ready to start? So you're going to be the first one, and you're going to try to get your stones in the circle. Oops. All right. Next try. No, throw your other stones.
Try the next. Try another one.
You get 5 tries. Oh, that's good. We're going to say on the line counts. So you get to throw your 5 tries, all right? 5 stones. Okay, so you've done 3? Okay, great. So you've got 2 more tries. Ooh, a 1.
Right, got something.
One more stone.
Ooh, right. Okay, so you got a 10, a 5, and a 1. So what does that add up to? 16, that's right. Okay, great. Okay, so the next person is going to throw. You throw your 5 stones. Okay. Ooh, too hard. There you go. All right. Okay, so how many points did you get? 5, 5, and 1. 11. All right, so we got 16 and 11. Are you ready to throw your stones? Oh, too strong. Oh, there you go. Ooh, right in the middle. Oh, another one. You're the winner so far. Fantastic. How many points did she get?
21.
21. Woo! Fantastic. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. 1.
3.
Oh, yay! Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed it. That's our game. It's called Stone's Throw. Now, if you were home alone, what you could do is play this like Bozo Buckets. Can you grab some of the rocks in the center?
You didn't get it.
Okay. So if you were playing by yourself, what you would do is starting here, you're going to start here and try to throw it in, and then step back and try to throw it in, step back and try to throw it in, and see how far back you can go. All right?
Go ahead. You can demonstrate, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have you demonstrate it.
So if you're by yourself, you can put like back and forth. After you throw it, you have to step back by yourself.
Right.
Can you demonstrate that?
Well, so it's like the, first you stay here.
Yes.
Five.
Mm-hmm. 5. Yeah. Exactly.
Then you go again. You can make your step whenever. And you step back. Like, just till your stones are done. Just keep it playing like that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yay! Yay!
Wow, thank you, kids. That was so cool. I can't wait to try that on my own. Although, I might have to use my back feet to throw them. I don't know. I'm good at throwing with my back feet, but, you know, these little paws in front? Kind of hard to throw. Anyway, maybe I could kick it into the circle instead. Well, I'll try that later. But now we have another really great project for you. It's an art project, and you saw those t-shirts the kids were wearing? Well, each of you are going to get a chance to make your own t-shirts. The supplies are in your bag, so you can take them out, and then you can paint your rocks. I can't wait to see your t-shirts when you're done. Here's the demo. Take it away, Sherry.
Everybody say hi.
Hi!
So glad you guys are here. We're here today to demonstrate the craft for the first day, which is the 5 Rocks Day, all right? So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we want to make sure that everybody has a t-shirt like this with VIP, and we're going to do that by printing with rocks, okay? So you need to start with a white t-shirt,
Okay.
and you're going to put a piece of cardboard in here, all right?
Alright.
That way the paint won't go through the t-shirt onto the other side,
Yeah.
all right? And then everyone should have some little pots of paint.
Okay.
There you go. Because I don't want you to spill your paint, so we need to stay nice and steady. Okay, you want teal? Okay, you can have the teal.
I like teal. I want my favorite color.
And then let's see, red, and I'm gonna just do one more color, so I'm gonna do dark blue. Okay, so I'll do the dark blue. And you should have rocks that are in your bag. So everybody take a rock. All right, here's a rock. All right, and we want to spell VIP. All right.
Okay.
So if you need to, you can start with a pencil and draw VIP, so you know which lines to follow. All right, so now it says VIP, and you're going to take your paintbrush, and you're going to paint it on your rock. All right, try to find a nice flat side to your rock, okay? Like this, and you're going to put some paint on there.
This is pretty flat.
That's a pretty flat side. And then you're going to print
This side's pretty
with your
flat
rock.
also. I'm gonna try to make
Just
it.
the flat
I'm
side,
going
okay?
to do this.
Okay.
All that candy was nice, but this is also nice painting.
It is fun to paint, isn't it?
Yeah, but it also gets messy from time to time.
It is
And
a little
I don't like
messy.
doing it all the time.
Oh, okay. We do want to make sure that we're doing this with the table covering, because we wouldn't want to get
The table really
the
dirty.
table too much. Okay, that's probably enough paint. Why don't you get some paint on here with the
Okay.
rock printed. As long as you're on one of the lines, that'll be good.
I'm gonna get some more paint on this guy.
Good.
More paint. Having fun, messy plates are fun because you get to take them home and show your mom.
The messy plates?
Yeah.
Cool.
What messy plates? The messy plates that you paint with? Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. I thought I was saying it was so cool. Ah! No! VIP.
VIP. All right. While they're finishing doing the rest of the printing, I want to say what else you can do with your rock. After you're finished doing your printing, you can take your rock and you can finish painting it like this and make it one of your My 5 rocks for the week. And when you're done painting them, you can write the words faith, praise, obedience, trust, and courage. Because we can do anything if we got our 5 rocks, right?
Yep. Well, maybe not.
Those are so beautiful. Now you're gonna want to let those shirts dry before you wear them. And also, let the stones dry before you write the words on them. And if you're very young, maybe an older person can help you write those words. Well, so now we have a snack that is sure to go snap, crackle, pop. Are you ready? Are you hungry? Well, here it goes.
Hi. We're here to demonstrate
The 5 rocks.
The 5 pop rocks. The first thing you have to do is sanitize your hands. Your turn on. Then you have to get a Tootsie Roll. 5 Tootsie Rolls. And then you have to open your bag of Pop Rocks. And then you have to sprinkle it on your plate.
And then you have to get your Tootsie Rolls and warm it in your hand for 20 seconds. And you can also sing Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to someone. Happy birthday to you. And you have to do it with like all 5 of your Tootsie Rolls. Or we can do one. And then you have to open your Tootsie Roll. And then you have to shape it into a ball. This is the hardest part. To me it is. It's kind of almost easiest part. No. And then you have to dab it in your Pop Rocks. You have to do it as well. I am. My hands are going to be sticky after this. And last but not least, you have to taste it. And this is the 5 Pop Rocks.
My mouth tickles. My mouth is tickling. It's so tickly from those Pop Rocks. It's so tickly. Is your mouth tickly? Whoa! I can hardly talk. Whoa! I love them though. I'm gonna have some more later. Well, now we have a really special video to show you. This is our mission for VIP, and it's a video from El Fuego del Sol. Wait till you see these wonderful things that this mission is doing to help people have a healthier way of eating. You're going to enjoy this. Here it is.
Hi, I'm Kevin Adair, co-founder and co-director of the El Fuego del Sol Ecological Development Project in the Dominican Republic and in Haiti. And I'm here to share of the faith story journeys that brought me to found the project all the way back in 2005. Thanks to your church community for supporting our project this year. It's great to have you on board as a member of the team. So, I was a youth director for 5 years after growing up in the same church that I was the youth director of, and the stories from the Bible were inspiring me my whole life, including the story of David and Goliath. To tell you the truth, I felt like a relatively small David going up against some pretty big Goliaths. Things like how you go about ecological development, how you cook food potentially for millions of people, and how you create jobs in a place where they have 70% underemployment. Well, it was following my faith journey that led me to meet the people and make the teams and work together to find those solutions. One of those solutions that we introduced in the Dominican Republic is the sun oven. I have one here to show you. It's pretty easy to cook with the sun oven. What you do is you put the food in the pot, you put the pot in the oven, close up the oven, put the oven in the sun, and you're cooking. We had a quite successful implementation program in the Dominican Republic for the sun oven. We were able to deliver over 250 units into families who then were trained and cooked with the sun ovens, and some of them are still cooking today. We'll have a nice time the rest of this week learning about some of the other journeys of faith that we've joined to get ourselves along and learn more and more about how we can interact with others, help others, and make sure that we make positive outcomes by working together. Thanks again for joining us today. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your journey of faith.
Well, that's all for me now. So, I want you to remember the theme today has been faith. And I hope you all have the faith of David to conquer anything that comes before you. Faith is one of our 5 rocks. Well, bye-bye for now. Let's all say goodbye at our assembly closing and sing our song.
Hi.
Hey, thanks, Peter, for taking us all the way through all those great things. Wow, what fun we had. Do you
Man, I
believe
learned
it?
so much today. I didn't know the story of David, not like that. So I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys all had as much fun as we did at our house.
Right. And I hope you had fun making your t-shirts. And if your parents can send in a picture, what are they going to do with that?
We'll have a link on the same site where you found all of these videos where your parents can submit any photos they've taken throughout the week of you doing any of the projects. So while you were making your t-shirt or painting your rocks, maybe while you were tasting those crazy pop rock treats,
Yeah, I'd love to
or
have a
doing
picture
your
of that.
dance and learning your songs, we'd love to see how much fun you and your family are having, learning and growing and just trying to play with us while we all have to stay safe and far apart.
That'll be really, really great. So before we end, I want everybody to stand up and we're going to learn our closing song. So you can make up your own motion to this song. It's He's got the whole world in his hands. So you might want to do He's got the whole world
In his hands.
I wonder what motions you're going to make up. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye guys, thanks for joining us today.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole